Federal judge issues new nationwide block against Trump's order seeking to end birthright citizenship. CNN reported. American flags are seen during a protest outside the U.S. Supreme Court over President Donald Trump's move to end birthright citizenship as the court hears arguments over the order in Washington, D.C., on May 15. A federal judge agreed Thursday to issue a new nationwide block against President Donald Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. The ruling from U.S. District Judge Joseph LaPlante is significant because the Supreme Court last month curbed the power of lower court judges to issue nationwide injunctions, while keeping intact the ability of plaintiffs to seek a widespread block of the order through class action lawsuits, which is what happened Thursday in New Hampshire. Ruling from the bench, LaPlante granted a request from immigration rights attorneys to certify a nationwide class that will be comprised only of those deprived of citizenship and issued a preliminary injunction indefinitely blocking Trump's Day 1 order from being enforced against any baby born after February 20. The preliminary injunction is just not a close call to the court, LaPlante said during a hearing. The deprivation of U.S. citizenship and an abrupt change of policy that was long-standing, that's irreparable harm. U.S. citizenship, the judge added, is the greatest privilege that exists in the world. The judge, an appointee of former President George W. Bush, said he would pause his order for several days to give the Trump administration time to appeal his decision. LaPlante issued a written 38-page order later Thursday as well. LaPlante wrote that he has no difficulty concluding that the rapid adoption by executive order, without legislation and the attending national debate, of a new government policy of highly questionable constitutionality that would deny citizenship to many thousands of individuals previously granted citizenship under an indisputably long-standing policy, constitutes irreparable harm, and that all class representatives could suffer irreparable harm absent an injunction. LaPlante's ruling could prove to be a critical bulwark against Trump's policy as other courts scramble to take a second look at their decisions in light of the Supreme Court's ruling. The White House called the ruling an obvious and unlawful attempt to circumvent the Supreme Court's clear order against universal relief. This judge's decision disregards the rule of law by abusing class action certification procedures. The Trump administration will be fighting vigorously against the attempts of these rogue district court judges to impede the policies President Trump was elected to implement, White House spokesman Harrison Fields said in a statement. In February, LaPlante indefinitely blocked the Trump administration from enforcing the order only against members of several nonprofit groups who would have been impacted by it. I'm the judge who wasn't comfortable with issuing a nationwide injunction. In other side of the world, Russia's intensifying drone war is spreading fear and eroding Ukrainian morale. BBC reported that everyone agrees, it's getting worse. The people of Kiev have, like the citizens of other Ukrainian cities, been through a lot. After 3.5 years of fluctuating fortunes, they are tough and extremely resilient. But in recent months, they have been experiencing something new, vast, coordinated waves of attacks from the air, involving hundreds of drones and missiles, often concentrated on a single city. Deadly new Russian drone and missile attack hits Kiev. Last night, it was Kiev. And the week before too. In between, it was Lutsk in the far west. 3 years ago, Iranian-supplied Shahd drones were a relative novelty. I remember hearing my first, buzzing a lazy arc across the night sky above the southern city of Zaporizhzhia in October 2022. But now everyone is familiar with the sound, and its most fearsome recent iteration, a dive-bombing whale some have compared to the German World War II Stuka aircraft. The sound of swarms of approaching drones have sent hardened civilians back to bomb shelters, the metro and underground car parks for the first time since the early days of the war. The house shook like it was made of paper, Katya, a Kiev resident, told me after last night's heavy bombardment. We spent the entire night sitting in the bathroom. I went to the parking for the first time, another resident, Svitlana, told me. The building shook and I could see fires across the river. The attacks don't always claim lives, but they are spreading fear and eroding morale. After an attack on a residential block in Kiev last week, A shocked grandmother, Maria, told me that her 11-year-old grandson had turned to her, in the shelter, and said he understood the meaning of death for the first time. He has every reason to be fearful. The UN's Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine, HRMU, says June saw the highest monthly civilian casualties in 3 years, with 232 people killed and over 1,300 injured. Many will have been killed or wounded in communities close to the front lines, but others have been killed in cities far from the fighting. The surge in long-range missile and drone strikes across the country has brought even more death and destruction to civilians far away from the front line, says Danielle Bell, head of HRMU. Modifications in the Shah's design have allowed it to fly much higher than before and descend on its target from a greater altitude. Its range has also increased, to around 2,500 kilometers, and it's capable of carrying a more deadly payload, up from around 50 kilograms of explosive to 90 kilograms.